Good evening, Sacred Grounds.
Hey.
Tonight's poem is about the feature. I wrote it lifting phrases from 6 different of his poems and incorporating them, weaving them on my own loom. Towards the end, you may hear an ohm or two, and I invite you to join in. Tonight's poem is called Fistful of Karma. Toothless Dusty ran up the tower. He furiously rang the church bell. "He's coming!" he yelled out to the town. "It's time to get ready! He's coming!" But nobody was listening. Few of us remembered the days when he was the Buddhist sheriff of this town. He'd walk tall down the street carrying heavy moral lumber, and no one wanted to face the wrong side of his ohm. That, of course, was before the bugs took over, or rather before we noticed that they had. Like our man Darwin, he learned to adapt and grow skilled and nimble when handling the short end of the stick. Now the bugs envy him. They ask each other, how could he have survived with all that's happened? Surely when we bugs have long expired, they say, he will remain walking tall once again and carrying heavy moral lumber. There is only one Buddha sheriff in this town, and although the days when he sprinted square routes over the freshly cut grass and freshly dug gopher holes in Golden Gate Park are gone, he still walks tall, carrying his id in a lizard bag. The number 21 that he wore on his back says it all. He was, he is, and he always will be old enough to know better, old enough to truly see the size of the windmill against which he sets his lance, timeless, wise, and foolish enough not to care. When he speaks, there is always an echo. You can hear him through the pipes, the whistling steam that scours away the mistakes, those awkward moments that cannot be undone, when love is handled and mishandled with the best of intentions, when the great ah of kindness arrives and he knows that he is loved, when the great silence of confusion occurs and he knows that it is no longer. The Buddha sheriff has his own history. It is only tangential that Buddha Brother Corso chanted blessings in his house, that Buddha Brother Ginsburg wished him love from his deathbed, that he was close enough to hear the moans overheard that night as 2 souls above him, one of them me, began the creation of the golden child. The Buddha sheriff is a chant of his own. I hear it echoing through the monastery halls. I hear it resonating in the square and down the mountain. I hear it joining the resonance of the giant bell that is struck by a log on chains. Buddha sheriff, the child with clenched fist and bloody knuckles, riding wave of righteous anger over larger boy would-be oppressor, over larger boy with red flower split lip, blood running as thin as water. Buddha sheriff as the flying 21, body stretched out parallel to the ground, executing the perfect square-out pattern, grasping the singing spiral in mid-flight. What hands, they cried, what hands! Soul-style slapping high fives, holding pens, striking keys onto eternity. What hands! Buddha sheriff, young man spending years among waiters and fry cooks who love the world and revel in it, young man cooking regular pots of healthy soup and a little loneliness stew. There are the substance of empty January when no love is to be found. These are the times when streams are cold and poets go fishing. Buddha sheriff clutching an angry campaign bottle from an old Halloween window display, and regretting the words that he told her, he brought anger to her warm silk bed where she pulled him down without speaking. The bells in his fool's cap jingled as anger merged with joy of yes, and the bells laughed at the fool who beat his head against fleshy walls again and again. Buddha Sheriff, gone to 50, gone to 21, gone to 11, gone to 60. It is all the same. It is all the same. You will always have the hands. You will always have the heart. You will always have the red flower split lip bleeding like water into the emptiness of time.